Oh, I 100% because I started playing when I was 8 years old.
Hmm.
So I 100% regret not sticking with it. And my dad even told me, he's like, you're going to regret every single bit of this. And
Hey, all, Coach here with Golfing with Coach. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the podcast. We got another guest in the house. This is going to be a fun, interesting one. We got Budget Bogeys in the house.
let's
So
go.
what's going on, bud?
Oh, same shit, different Monday.
Yeah, that is what it is, man. So we'll just dive right in, man. Um, how long you been golfing for, and why golf? Why take up golf and all that?
So I started golf when I was a kid. Um, then kind of hung it up, around high school because wasn't really the cool thing to do in high school. Nobody really cared about the golf team, this, that, the other. Plus, there was a whole, thing where I missed the tryouts and I'm like, you know what, I'm done with it. I don't want anything to do with it now. Typical, teenager mentality.
Right.
But picked it up now. Um, I don't know. I became a dad and just seemed like a dad thing to do. Dad's golf.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this: like, looking back on it, would you have taken up golf when you were much younger and until you're now?
Oh, I 100% because I started playing when I was 8 years old.
Hmm.
So I 100% regret not sticking with it. And my dad even told me, he's like, you're going to regret every single bit of this. And here I am, regretting all of it.
It's funny how I don't know what kind of relationship you have with your dad. My father and I, we didn't have a great relationship, but it's funny the lessons they teach you and you don't even realize it until
Mhm.
you know. Yeah, it's crazy. I wish I would have. I chased football. I played high school football like that's what we did in the mid '90s. Went on, played 7 seasons at the semi-pro football level, and looking back at it, I much rather would have. It's two-sided, really, because I would have never gotten my coaching career that I've gotten if I would have done this. If I would have took up golf, I would have never coached. All those years.
Mhm.
So I don't know if I would change it, but maybe I would add golf to it because I started when I was 46.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so I started late. So um, I wish I would have took it up a lot earlier, or even in my early 20s. But again, and we'll get into this. Golf wasn't that popular then. I mean,
It really,
it was the Tiger Woods was coming on. It was the beginning of Tiger Woods' career and stuff, in which, I, regardless of what you think of Tiger Woods, um, he is one of the greatest of all times, and he did change the face of golf. In the mid to late '90s, he started making it popular, but it still wasn't what it is today.
yeah. Well, and I was watching a video on that today. Actually, they were talking about how, when Tiger came into golf, everybody was at the range. Everybody was buying the Nike clubs. Everybody they wanted to be like Tiger.
Right.
Well, and once Tiger, had his stuff that went on and everything else, kind of fell off. Then you reach that lull point in golf where it's not popular. It's something that your dad went out and did. Fast forward to
About
I would say
2020.
probably like 2020, a
Yeah,
few years ago, I
with
noticed
COVID.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the content creator golfers and all these guys coming out, and boom, next thing you know, golf is popular again. But the difference this time is it has nothing to do with the PGA.
Right. Now we'll get into this because since that's the world that we live in, social media and golf. We all know that social media is a big reason why golf is so popular now.
Mhm.
Do I feel it's the reason? No, but I do feel like it's a huge thing when we started taking our golf games and putting it on social media like YouTube, Instagram. Back then it was Facebook, but now Facebook is just for old people to keep track of their family. Right here. That's me. But why do you think that is? Why do you think that I mean, we know social media has blown up everything, but why do you think golf has exploded so much through social media?
Um, Everybody has a phone. You have a camera with you wherever you go.
Mm-hmm.
So at the drop of a hat, you can just start recording something. And that's pretty much how Good got their start was, Garrett Clark just doing trick shots in his backyard, putting it on Instagram. And
Right.
now they're, a titan in the golf industry. I mean, they're sponsoring tour pros. Who would have
Right.
ever thought a YouTube golf video, essentially at this point, company would be sponsoring pro players on the PGA Tour?
So why do you think it's become now you have good foreplay, Bob does sports, A&N. I mean there's tons of them out there. Uh the list can go on and on. Why do you think it became so popular with guys like you and I and the people that we golf with?
Um, I think for me is I kind of put myself like in that situation. And, for example, I like watching Bob Does Sports because I can literally picture myself in with, that group. And that seems like a good group of guys to play with. You're learning, but at the same time, you're not. You're having fun while, watching
Right.
some.
For me, it was, and it's relevant, and that's the biggest reason. And like, let's take foreplay. Um, for example, I'm a big foreplay guy. I feel like I can go and drop in and play with those guys
Mhm.
and play at a level that they're at. I mean, again, Frankie Borelli is one hell of a golfer. Riggs is a good golfer, regardless of what anybody says. He's a damn good golfer. You got Beef now, that is a really good golfer.
Is
And
that the guy with Barstool?
yeah, the big, really big guy.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
now
yeah.
he's on foreplay with him because he's a really good golfer. And then we go to Bob Does Sports. Bob's not a great golfer. Joey Kokut is not a great golfer. Fat Perez is a great golfer.
Yeah, Pat
You know,
Perez, he's scratch.
yeah. So
And for me,
you could jump in there and play with those guys, and your scores will be very relevant for the most part. Now are they playing on harder courses than we are? Hell yeah, they are. They're playing on the best of the best. But for me, I just felt like it was really relatable. I feel like this whole social media thing is relatable. And for me, how I got my start was I had kids. I had young teenagers. Not quite teenagers, and I was being a dad, and I was going on there and making sure my kids weren't doing something stupid.
Mhm.
Or watching something stupid. And then I'm looking at this stuff, going, man, I could do this. And I had my whole racing career, and I started following my racing career towards the end. And when I gave that up, I was like, well, I'm going to start a whole new sport. Let's just document it from the beginning. And that's kind of where I'm at now, where I've documented it from the beginning. Now I'm doing a podcast and club reviews and all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's grown quite a bit in the last couple of years, slowly, but it has grown because I feel like what we do is relevant. What we do is just like what everybody else is doing. Um, we just put it out there for people to watch.
Yeah.
So now talk about fat, and we'll talk more about this a little bit more about another thing that I found with social media and the way golf is blowing up. It's welcoming. It's more welcoming to everybody.
Mhm.
All races, females, males. What is this guy doing on here? Um, Females, males, all that stuff has really, got attracted to the sport or really have been drawn to the sport. How do you feel about all that?
I like it. I mean, in my opinion, more the merrier. I mean, everybody's out here, teaching everybody. There's not a single person I've met on, the golf side of TikTok who, has been mean or off-putting or really anything like that. And everybody has a little bit of advice to give you.
Right.
You know, every time I go live with somebody, I'm getting a new piece of advice, that I can it's either mental advice or, physical advice for my swing or equipment advice. And, as far as, females getting into golf, that's almost kind of necessary, isn't it?
I feel so. I really do, to a point. Yeah, I definitely think so. I think with women in golf, it just it takes everything to the new level. And I'll give you an example. The guy I just went last week to San Diego with a boys trip for my buddy's birthday, and it was me, a good friend of mine who's 75 years old, my buddy, and then his two sons, which both are adults, married, and have kids and stuff. Well, anyways, the youngest boy is a great golfer. He's a single digit handicap golfer, but he wasn't golfing as much as he wanted to. Um, and so, because he has three kids younger, and they both have busy work lives, and the whole thing, the whole American dream thing that we got going on. But he couldn't golf as much as he wanted to, so he took his wife out there just to go out and hang out with him. Great Christian family. So they took his wife out there. Well, she ended up falling in love with it,
Mm-hmm.
and she probably golfs more now than he does.
Ooh.
But and then she's getting lessons, and she's doing it all right. I mean, and she's becoming she's becoming. I can't believe from where she was to where she is now. It's crazy how much she's improved. But I had asked him about that. I'm like, what do you think about your wife golfing now? He goes, I absolutely love it because I get to golf more. And it's weird when we go out and golf. She rides with his dad, and then he rides with me because they can't say because he's it's that husband and wife dynamic where he wants the very best for her, so he's trying to teach her. Well, we all know on the course that's not the time and place to do it for the most part. That's what you need to teach is at the driving range, and then try to relay it on the course. But and he's very technical, a very smart young man. Mm-hmm. So he has all that going for him, but he said he loved it because my wife gets to golf with me now. I get to golf more. She gets to golf more. She's more apt to let me go on golf trips because she knows how this all is. Like she knows the golf world and how it can suck you in.
Right. We'll jump right back. I just had a question for you real quick about, how this is all running. Comment section. Do you want me to reply to comments I see in the comment section or just kind
of? It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I mean, we can. Like Mott says, I'm from Arizona. Where are you from? If you don't have to say if you don't want to.
I'm from Ohio.
Well, you don't want people to come knocking on your door, looking through your windows as you get dressed.
They can try.
Well, they can try.
They can try, but
again, for me, that's the downside of social media, especially with women involved. Because we talk about, I mean, there's some very attractive women out there golfing, and they're wearing very attractive clothing,
right?
And you're gonna get those creepers out there. So yeah, again, I see that, and it can be a dangerous avenue for them to take if you're not very careful.
Yeah, but you know what? I would at least like to have some hope that most guys out on the golf course would, have enough respect not to, you can look, that's by all means, that's fine. That's probably why they bought that outfit is because it looked really nice on them and they liked it. So sure, by all means, but just don't be, for lack of a better term, an ass about it.
Right. And it's the social media part where they start the Back Nine Besties, they were my very first podcast, and when I was talking to them, and I invited them on there, and it was a cold DM. Like I dropped in their DM, like, hey, I introduced who I was. This is what I want to start doing. I would like you to be my guest on my podcast. Well, they did some research. They did a background on me, like, okay, is this cool? Guy good enough? Because again, unfortunately, they get all these DMs, and probably most of them are not respectful. I would say. And
that's
and then they have the same thing with the Birdies in the outfield, we did a golf tournament together, and they were partners, but the Birdies outfield wanted to golf with them as a team. Again, they did all their research on those two boys, and they were, great guys, awesome guys. But they had to do the research on them to make sure that is it a safe environment for us to put ourselves into, because they get invited all the time to go play golf. Mm-hmm. Now, and unfortunately, there's some creeps in that as well. And there's some guys that are just generally, hey, just love to go golf with you. And there's people out there that are just creeps. And unfortunately, that's the world we live in with social media. And that, I feel like that's the downfall or the downside of social media, especially when it comes to women and fashion and golf. So now I mentioned fashion. Let's talk fashion.
Yeah, I was about to jump into that. My wife, she'll get on me sometimes because, if say we're just going to, out to eat with her parents or something like that, she'll want me to wear khakis or this, that, and the other. I'm, just wearing blue jeans and, like a nice t-shirt or, maybe a collared shirt even. But if I'm going golfing, it's like I plan my outfit out the night before.
Sure.
What shirt goes with what shorts. Make sure it matches my belt. Make sure I have a good hat to go with it.
If I'm going to suck, I'm going to at least try to look good doing it.
Exactly.
It's exploded with all these brands coming out. We have all these brands all these new clothing lines coming out. And again, and we had talked about this before. I feel that social media had a lot to do with that or helped it. Now you have a little bit different opinion, so I want to hear your opinion on
it. I think social media was the main driver in it. Today, today's fashion-wise, social media was a driver. But I also think that this started years ago with, the flashy golfers like you had John Daly. He's known for, his flashy outfits. Ricky Fowler showing up to the course with an all bright orange tracksuit. I mean, come on,
that's on Sundays. That's Ricky Fowler's Sundays gear, man. It's crazy. Have you ever watched the interview with him? He did an interview and they talked about his bright colors, and he goes, I actually just wear black outside the golf course. Like he doesn't wear those loud colors or anything, but it's his sponsors, and he wears it because of his sponsors, and then it kind of took off from there. You know, I mean, if you know anything about golf and you see Ricky on Sunday, that's Ricky. He had I can't remember what he was wearing. It wasn't the Masters. It was early this year. Like he was full out camo.
Yeah, I saw that. He was real tree camo.
You couldn't find Ricky because you couldn't see him because he blended in.
The way he was playing, I don't think he wanted found.
Yeah, he didn't play very well. What's your most memorable moment on a golf course?
So last year, end of the year on my golf league, the final hole, you know how a golf league is. It's 2 twosomes, and everybody goes out.
Right.
Well, when it came to the last hole, I think it was like 3-4 groups ahead of us. They decided to wait on the last hole for everybody to come on so we could finish out the hole, as a league, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, we do that all the time. Actually, every Saturday we do that.
Yeah. So this guy had the strangest club I've ever seen in my life. It was a 3-wood, but it was like 4 inches longer than a normal 3-wood should be. So it's this big old, stick with a tiny head on it. And it was senior flex. So it was a straight up pool noodle, this thing.
Like a noodle, yeah.
So the guy's like, okay, everybody has to take their tee shot with this.
Right.
And I had a good game going. So I'm like, man, not me. Couldn't be me. I'm posting this to 18 birdies. If I have a blow up on the 9th hole, I don't know how I'm going to explain this to everybody. So I had my driver out there, and my father-in-law's like, dude, just hit the 3-wood.
Right.
And I teed this thing up like my drive. Everybody else is teeing it up low like you should with a 3-wood. I teed that thing up. I teed it up high, and I crushed that thing 250 yards down the fairway. I think the closest drive to me was about 100 yards away behind me.
Because that's awesome. I
And,
had
and
something similar, but it didn't have the same outcome. So in my home course, every Saturday we have a men's league, and it's just maybe 4-man scramble, and how we split it up is usually we'll take the long ball guys, which so there's probably 4 or 5 of us that can hit it out there pretty good, and so we all get split up. So I get on one team, and they split up. So we go to hole number 9 because we started on 10. So hole number 9 was the last hole for us, and it's a 240-yard par 4. It's a short par 4.
that's drivable.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
I would clear the green.
well, you have to. So I take my driver out, and I swing it as slowly as I possibly can. And
Oh, you have to.
it just pops off there, and it goes straight, and it'll go 220, 230 yards, and I'm just like literally just basically it and coming back, and basically just letting the club just kind of drop on the ball, basically, and it just pops out there. Well, I hit this thing about, I don't know, this far, probably 18 inches from the hole, from 240 yards. So the first group at the end, they're waiting, they're all flipping out, going, great drive. And then, I'm the first to tee off in my group. So the other 3 had to tee off, and then we had a group behind us. They all tee off, blah, blah, blah. Of course, no one's closer. So I got to wait for all those guys to putt out before I can get in. So I'm the last one there for eagle, right? For eagle, last one on the hole. And so when everybody's watching me, I putt it and I lift it out about an inch away from the hole. Like it hit the hole, rolled around the backside, and came out the other side, and it was only probably a ball length from the hole. I was like, so now every time we go there, every Saturday, somebody has to bring it up, But that's my most, I'll probably never forget that because it was just, all the boys were there.
Oh, yeah.
I could have been the hero of the day, and I became the zero of the day.
Yeah. Well, I have another one, if I may.
Well, go ahead.
So same league, same thing. This is towards the beginning of the year. Last year was my first year golfing, so just not good at golf whatsoever. It was not really a long, an average par 3, 150 yards, but it's all downhill.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on a slope, it's on a tiered green. So you have up here, and then you have, a pretty steep decline down here, probably 40 feet. Pin's always high because the greenskeeper hates everybody. So I'm down below shooting my 5th shot. And I'm like, man, I just want to pick this up. Just give me a 6. So this guy's like, no, you're not going to take a 6. Because I didn't even have a putter. He comes over and hands me his putter. I'm like, is this a Scotty Cameron? He's like, yeah, it is. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll, won't pass up an opportunity to, take my first hit with a Scotty Cameron. So from 40 feet downhill, I sank a putt. My first ever stroke with a Scotty Cameron. Sank a 40-footer.
Now, have you hit a Scotty Cameron since then, or?
No. I can't afford to.
Right. I definitely know what you mean by that. But
we got budget in the name, brother. There's no Scotty Cameron in my bag.
Right. I feel you there on that one. Luckily, I have a awesome, hopefully an awesome putter sponsor at Lombardi Golf. But what's your go-to drink on the course?
If I'm starting out in the mornings, usually a C4 followed by a Gatorade Zero to be exact, because personally I like them better.
Me too.
After then, Busch Lights.
You're a Busch Light guy, huh?
Simple, they're easy to drink, and it's one of those where I can drink them all day and not really get, too crazy about everything.
For me, when I don't drink anymore, but when I was drinking, it was tequila, soda, and lime juice. It didn't matter if it was 7 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That was my go-to drink. Now, um, now it's more of like a Celsius Prime Zero or Prime or a Monster sugar-free Monster. Those are more of my style now. But before it was tequila club soda and lime juice for sure all day long.
Yeah, I
So,
can't. I am not a tequila guy whatsoever. Never have been.
well, I grew up 5 miles from the Mexican border, so it was
Mm.
so we do. What's your go-to snack?
Um, I don't know. I mean, the only time I really eat's on a turn, and probably just like a sub or a hot dog or sausage, something like that. I usually don't like to eat when I'm golfing because I'll get.
That'll soak up all the alcohol. We don't want that.
Well, no, it's not necessarily that. I don't know. There's too much going on at once. If I have to worry about eating something, going and hitting a ball, I got grease all over my fingers. Club slips in my hands.
Yeah,
Not a big fan of that. So usually, yeah, just
I'm
something on
usually,
the tongue.
I'm usually a granola bar or protein bar
Mm-hmm.
about the fourth or fifth hole, then a hot dog at the turn if it's available, and then probably around the 15th hole, I'll have another granola bar just to try to keep my energy up, or a protein bar. But I've heard some crazy stuff that people bring to golf courses. Avocado, don't know what that's about. Um, salted pretzel, salted pretzels, don't know what that's about.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I'm thinking, but I've seen people bring out a spread. They're out there making sandwiches and stuff. I'm like,
Got
damn,
a charcuterie board out there on the golf course.
right? What is your
Have you
dream?
uh have you ever thought of trying Bryson's snack bag? Because it is very well known about Bryson's snack bag, the stuff he's got in it. He's
Yeah,
got the coconut strips, the beef jerky, the almonds, all. He's
it's
got
all
like a
healthy.
5 course meal in this thing.
It's all healthy stuff.
It is.
It's really all healthy. It's all good for you. It's all. I can't do coconut strips. I'm allergic to
No.
coconut. No, I'm not a big coconut fan, anyways. But I'm definitely not a coconut fan. I couldn't do that. But beef jerky, yeah. Um, Raisins sometimes. I don't
Not a
know.
raisin.
I'm
Not a
not a
raisin.
raisin guy. I'm a grape guy, not a big raisin.
Yeah. I like them when they're fresh before you petrify them.
Right. Tiger Woods' go-to is a peanut butter and jelly and banana sandwich. You've ever tried that? You've got to try it.
That was also Elvis's go-to.
I'm telling you, I was like, peanut butter and banana on toast. I've done 1,000 times. I heard that, and I'm like, I'm going to try it. And actually, it was actually really good. Really
Well,
good.
I mean, not to get scientific and technical, but the reason you want to eat a banana is on the golf course is to prevent cramps and to
Right.
prevent muscle strain.
Right. So I mean, it's a good deal. Like I understand. Again, they're all walking. They're doing a lot more exercise than we are. But I definitely it is a good. It is such a good go-to. What is your
I don't
dream
know. What's that?
dream foursome?
Dream foursome. I don't know. This will change like every time you ask me. I hate to. There will be one consistent though in this, and that's Bryson DeChambeau. Bryson DeChambeau, 100%. I mean, the dude, he likes to have fun, but he's also very, very good, and you could take something from
Right.
that. Bob does, Bob from Bob Does Sports. Obviously, he's got to go in there. He's not going to give you guys anything, maybe a couple good putts, but the vibes will definitely be there.
Mm-hmm.
And God, it's the last one every single time. Gets me. And it's between Bubby Golf and Matt Scharf. and it'll change every single time between those two guys.
All right. That's solid. That's different. Bryson is a pretty common answer I get, but the other ones are well, the other one like Bob does sports. That's one of mine for sure. I say for me, it's Frankie Borelli because he's such a hype. He's such a hype man. You take a good shot, he's gonna make you feel like it's the best shot in the world at that point in time. It's just how he is. Trent Ryan, obviously the nicest guy on YouTube golf, hands down. And then Bob does sports. And they've all played together. I haven't played with them. I'd love to. But I think that vibe, that group of people, wow, that would be first of all, it'd be a lot of fun. Great food. Bob's going to, he's going to have
he's going to bring the spread. He's going to have chicken Caesar wraps for everybody.
Right. And the vibes are going to be high. It's going to be a great time. It would be a lot of fun. And
now, I thought about this question from you, because we talked before about this, and for me, there's two different categories for my dream foursome. Is it a dream foursome that I want to learn from, or a dream foursome that I want to just go out and play 18 holes with? Because that would be a complete different spectrum of dudes.
Right.
Because then you bring Grant Horvat into the equation because he's a wizard with his irons. He
has the prettiest swing in YouTube golf.
Oh, 100%.
In my opinion.
I mean, the dude's an animal, and everybody's up in arms about him getting this PGA spot, but I think he's earned it. I mean, in my opinion, I think he's earned it.
Well, he's Mr. YouTube golf. I mean, he really is. I mean, he is YouTube golf. I really think he is. I mean, he was part of Good. And he took it when he came on, he took it to the next level, and then he went on and did his own thing. And he's even bigger now than he was when he was a Good. And Good is huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, is he known for Good? Yeah, that's where he's known from. But what he's done since then is incredible in my eyes.
So take Ozzy Osbourne, for example. I mean, Ozzy Osbourne, he started with Black Sabbath, but he's known for
Ozzy Osbourne. Being Ozzy, right?
Yeah.
Right? What's your goals this year?
Goals this year, as far as golf?
Yeah.
First and foremost, I'd like to break into the 80s and be there consistently. I feel that's attainable. I haven't really been playing that way lately, but beginning of the year, up here in Ohio, we literally just knocked the dust off of our clubs 3 weeks ago. So we're getting the old rust off, and we'll see what comes of it. And obviously just grow the channel, grow the platform, do more things on here.
Dude, I will say that putt, the one with the putter.
Oh,
bro, I lost my shit, dude. Like I literally, oh my God. I just started. I mean, I said I laughed. I mean, I laughed out loud at that shit. I was like, that was hilarious.
I got the little fella right here.
A good thing I didn't do that. I didn't play that in public.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. So now I know. Now I know. Okay, I better preview this before I open it in public from you, dude. It was hilarious, man.
Well, in that video, like as we're speaking, it peaked over 10,000 views today.
Yeah,
so
it's funny as hell.
One of my best videos.
Right? And it probably took you 5 minutes to make.
There was, I had to, count in my head because, I'm not going to sit there and try to mash up sounds. I'm like, okay, let's go to the sound bar. It starts at, 5 seconds. So, do some, stuff with the putter, count to 5, and then hit the ball. And it ended up working out perfectly.
Yeah, it was great, man. That was great. For my goal this year is I'm a 15 handicap. I want to be a 12 by the end of the year. And then another goal I have I just came up with myself. I want to par my home course. Now I've shot, and it's a par 73. It's different. It's par 73. I've shot a 77 on there. But and I played very well that day to shoot a 77. It would have to be a very, very, very good day to do it. But that's my two goals this year. And not just the golfing part of it. I didn't really have any goals as far as the channel this year. Because I more wanted to focus on becoming a better golfer.
Right.
But so there's really no channel goals. Now there kind of is now. Now I want to take these podcasts and put them on Spotify, and other, podcast platforms. But yeah, that's really only my only goals this year is a 12 handicap and try to par my home course, which is going to be extremely difficult. It's going to be easier to get 12 handicap than it is to par that course.
Yeah. Oh, hell, if you par your home course, you pretty much fall into that 12 handicap. So you kind of kill two birds with one stone there.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. What's your favorite course you played on or you want to play on? Or what does it say? What's your favorite course you played on so far?
Favorite course I've played on so far? Probably Firestone.
Okay.
Firestone Country Club. Just exquisite. Top of the line, everything. I mean, it's night and day playing a course. Like, you hear people say it all the time, but it really is night and day playing a professional quality course to playing just your regular municipal course.
Right. Bryson said this, and he said it's harder to play on a city course than it is on a PGA course.
Mm-hmm.
Because he says the lies are inconsistent. It's not as well taken care of. He goes, you're standing in divots sometimes. It's you don't have that at that. And I know I was at Singing Hills and Steel Canyon golf course in San Diego, both very pristine courses. They are open to the public, but they're pricey.
Right.
But it was amazing. It was amazing how better I felt like I was playing, because I'm like, all right, I got this big old crabgrass, this patch of crabgrass right in front of my ball, or I have this, or I got a stick that's laying under from the tree that's been laying on the fairway for the last 3 weeks. Things like that. That's exaggeration, but there's so much more to deal with on your regular city course or your whatever you want to call it, versus a very well like country club or a very prestigious course.
Yeah. Well, and that's where, I have a hot take on this. Some people don't agree with it because, quote, that's not real golf. But especially this time of year, if I'm playing on a muni course, which, the course we play on for league is called a country club, but it's a public course. You can have a membership there at a considerable discount to a regular country club, but at the end of the day, it is, a public course. And, your first cut of rough, when it's this fucking tall and you're trying to play out of the first cut, I don't play that. I'm like, no, this is supposed to be first cut, not
rough.
OB rough. So
Right.
I'll move my ball back into the fairway without penalty, just because, I call it muni rules. When you're on a municipal golf course, you're going to come across just stupid stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Just move your ball. Don't advance yourself to the hole. Don't give yourself any better shot. I'm not saying, I pick my ball up, move it center of the fairway. No, I'll just, knock my ball over to the fringe and take it from there.
We have a preferred lie rule at our course because the fairways are very patchy, and I'm not hitting my brand new clubs off the dirt.
Oh God!
So when we have tournaments or we have or we place like Saturday, we always do a prefer lie, which we just all you do is move it lateral to the nearest grass.
Yep.
You know, it back if you have to. Never move it forward. Never closer to the hole. But that's kind of what we have at our course, and that's it's a rule, and everybody just knows it. Like, okay, just you won't even think twice about picking up and moving it to a grassy area, just because. Again, it's just the right. I feel like if you can't grow grass in your fairway, you're going to at least let me move it without a stroke penalty.
Right.
And that's just how I feel about it.
Most guys, like, the way I see it, I play for fun. I follow PGA rules or USGA rules to the T? Absolutely not.
No, none of us do.
And I've gotten, just a skosh of shit about that. It's like, well, your handicap's not a true handicap. I'm like, listen, man, when I start qualifying for, paid events and, things where I would be considered a professional golfer, yeah, then, we can bring that into the conversation. But if you're just out, playing whack fuck with your buddies on a Saturday, nobody cares.
Yeah, I had played in a horse. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was a horse race a couple weeks back at my home course, and we get to the second hole. I was the A player on the team, so our first hole is a par 3. So our C player teed off on the first hole, and then I'm the A player, so I tee off on the second hole. The B player would tee off on the third hole, and then the fourth, because we only had 3 to the team. And the C player would tee off, alternate tee offs. So I get up on the second hole, and I probably outdrive everybody by 75 yards. I crush it. Now, mind you, these are all older people. They're all retired. They're older people. They're not going to hit it as far as me. I mean, I was probably the youngest player by quite a few years. So I hit it like 75 yards past and just crushed the shit out of the ball. And anyways, nothing. It was like holy shit, wow. But we get to the third hole, and no, it was that same hole. My 2 partners, he gets up, he literally just shanks it right to the right, almost out of bounds. And then we had a lady that she was probably 80 something. Couldn't hit the ball more than 40 yards. Okay. She hits it right in the bunker. Well, I go in the bunker and she hits it like right on the face of the bunker. So it rolls down. And so I'm taking my practice swing and I hit the face of the bunker because it's only this far from the hole. Like, so I took and hit the face, and they're like, well, that's a penalty. That's a penalty. And truly, it kind of was, but I said I didn't pick sand. I didn't tap my club on the ground to see the sand and how loose it is, if it's packed underneath. I did none of that. I was literally, and like, oh, you hit it, it's a stroke penalty, and we got put out. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, literally, the face of that thing was probably 8 to 10 inches. So. I was just a practice swing. I just hit it. I barely hit it too. But someone was like eagle over me, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me right now?" I know it's a rule, but
see the way I play it. I don't care if you rest your club head fully on the sand. We're all out here trying to get better. We're all out here. Weekend warriors. I can see if. We're in some kind of a tournament or a scramble where.
Oh, of course. Well, yeah, I was in a tournament.
There's something that you're paying to play for. There's a cash prize. Something like that. Then, yeah, you play by USGA rules. But
now there is a cash prize. Like we all had to throw in like $5.
Yeah.
So the cash prize, if you walk out there, if you're a winner, you walk out like with $20.
There you go.
If somebody's gonna play out, I'll give you $20. Shit, here's $20. Go for damn, if that $20 means that much, you have to make it. I mean, it was a thing too, because I didn't realize I did it, and I hit it out, and it rolled about 6 inches from the hole, great out, and I didn't think of it, and until my golf pro walked in and goes, "Hey, did you ground the club?" And I said, I don't think so. He goes, "In your practice swing?" And I was like, and I normally don't even take a practice swing. And I was like, I don't normally take a practice swing, but I might have. I don't know. And then I got to the next hole. We were going to the next hole, and I was thinking, like, yeah, I did. So I was like, hey, I actually did. So you're going to have to add, that stroke penalty, which when that happened, kicked us out of the horse race. But I just wanted to be fair about it, but it still sucked because everybody was still in the thick.
Yeah.
Now, if I would have hit, and I guarantee you, if I would have hit a drive that was with the rest of them, and if I would have punched that thing out, or I would have hit it out and it would have went back in the bunker, nobody would have said shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now, if you
It
would have
was the
scored
drive,
that
and
thing over
I
the
popped
green,
it
nobody
out,
would have cared.
and I popped it out, and I got lucky. The out, I just got lucky on, but nobody else would have said a damn thing. But
Well, that's when
anyways,
you're golfing with salty golfers.
right. What's your favorite course you want to play on?
Hmm. You know, I don't know. Like probably Augusta, just so I can say I did it.
Augusta, mine's Augusta or the old course in Scotland. Really, that would be amazing. I would get my butt kicked for 18 holes at both of them.
Absolutely,
I mean, it would be a 4.5 hour to 5 hour butt whooping, but it's something I would always wanted to do for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and that whole town is built around golf.
oh, for sure.
Like I was watching a Rick Shields video, and the whole town, it's just nothing but golf shops. Anything and everything golf you can imagine, it's there. And that would be part of the reason, like, that is a destination, more than just like a course I want to play. You know what I mean?
They made a joke, and I think it was foreplay. It was foreplay. They made a joke saying, "Man, there was just think there's an IHOP half a mile from here, and people are just eating because there's how prestigious and what an amazing place Augusta is." And they're like, "There's an IHOP for average Joe's eating pancakes a half a mile." And I'm like, because it kind of puts it in perspective. Like, yeah, but it would definitely be a cool place to go for sure, man.
No, absolutely. That's the destination. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's on everybody's bucket list if you golf.
For sure. Do you have any plans of traveling at all this year, going to different courses, or?
Not really. I'm just kind of going, with the way whatever takes me. I got a 2-year-old and a wife at home, and 2-year-old's not really interested in dad traveling too much. So
Hour have already gone by already. That's man. Thanks for coming on. This is a blast. We'll stay in touch. We have some ideas come down the road. We'll let everybody know about that later once we get all the details ironed out on that. But I'm excited about what's going to happen in the future.
oh yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. I think if it works out, it'll be a blast, man, for sure, man. So again, man, thanks for coming on. Thanks for all you do. Keep posting your stuff. Funniest shit, man. Keep posting it. I enjoy it. I'm a fan of watching it. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep grinding, and until next time, right?
Yep.
I'm going to close it by saying this. You're not good enough to get pissed off. So until next time, y'all take care and God bless.